want to ask you about, you get asked a lot of questions about macro politics. I want to ask you something about micro politics. There's a lot of polarization. Our dining tables are split. Almost in every family, the father has a political view that is like an opposite of a daughter or a son. And it gets very volatile these days. I want to ask you, like, how is it possible today, do you think, to love someone or have a relationship with someone who has, like, polar opposite worldview or the political view?
That's a very good
Yeah.
question.
And you might come across these things in your family also, right?
I have actually come across it in my family, and it seems that, you know, they do meet across completely different politics.
Okay.
It's very unusual for me because, in my view, when you're living with someone, their ideas, their feelings,
Okay.
their responses to events, you don't have to be political to be absolutely horrified when you see, mob lynchings,
Okay.
when you see innocent people being pilloried because of their religion.
Okay.
You don't have to be in politics.
Okay.
But I have seen couples where they bridge that gap
Okay.
quite well and they're quite happy. So, in my own experience, I can't imagine myself living in that
Okay.
situation, but I have learned
Okay.
that you can have true love
Okay.
even across political boundaries.
Have you encountered a situation where someone in your family, someone very close to you, a younger person probably, has a relationship with a BJP leader or someone like that, polar opposite view?
Yes, I have, in fact.
How did you react?
I mean, because I believe in choice and personal choice. So,
Okay.
I think that's whoever that person is,
Okay.
they work it out together. So, I don't think there's much one should do, quite
Okay.
honestly, to intervene in such issues
Okay.
because I think if you believe in personal choice and you
Okay.
believe in an adult taking their own decisions,
Okay. But you said you don't think one should intervene. But the problem is, the politics around us is structured in such a way that, there's a lot of focus on theatrics. You have to attack the person, you have to attack the opposition party all the time.
I
It
mean,
seems like we are
when
always
that
under a vicious
situation
cycle.
arises, we'll see. But quite frankly, if we're talking about personal choice in relationships,
Yeah.
you have to believe that that personal choice or whoever it is, whether in your family or outside your family, who makes such decisions, do so with full information and consent. It's a different thing if a girl or a boy has to have an arranged marriage.
Okay.
I've seen that also,
Okay.
where you have an arranged marriage,
Okay.
particularly when it's a girl, to
Okay.
go into an orthodox family. I'm not talking about necessarily a political family,
Okay.
but even values
Yeah.
that a girl who's brought up in a more progressive environment, who's able to express herself autonomously in different choices she has for marriage,
Yeah.
career, children, etc.
Yeah.
And she goes into a family where there is conservatism and orthodoxy.
Yeah.
That is equally difficult.
Okay.
And I think that is something which we don't take seriously enough because in our country, 90% of marriages are arranged marriages.
Yeah.
Only 5%. This is according to the National Family Health Survey, the various surveys they do.
Okay.
So they found that 90%
Okay.
are within the caste.
Okay.
So that's another issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, where's the issue? We keep talking about personal choice.
Yeah.
But where's the issue when 90% of arranged marriages in India are within your own caste? So
Actually,
that caste is so resilient in this country,
yeah.
in spite of all the so-called modernizations. I think that's very disturbing.
It's true even for Kerala. I would stress on the even part. Like, your party gets elected every 5 years later, but then if you look at other kind of indicators like marriage indicators and all that, it seems like the society has changed, not changed
No,
at all.
no, there's a big difference.
Hmm.
No, not at all.
Hmm.
I mean, in my own party,
Yeah.
there are so many inter-community,
That's
inter-caste
true.
marriages. So many.
That's
And
true.
in society too.
Yeah.
And Here in Kerala, you won't find that kind of, social animosity or social boycott as a general phenomenon as you would find it in other states. And that's why I say, I don't know whether people of Kerala really get it that, you are, you own, you are part of, you have developed, you have created a society which is in a situation which is so different.
Yeah.
You don't have honor killings in Kerala, even in a state like Tamil Nadu, which is so progressive in the anti-caste movement. But look at what's happening today. I have dealt with so many honor crimes in Tamil Nadu, dealt with in the sense, joined my organization. I'm getting back to personal choice.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know, I just think Kerala has to wake up and be able to defend itself. In the sense, when I say wake up, we take so much for granted in Kerala.
Yeah.
We just take it for granted.
Yeah, because we haven't seen something else.
You haven't seen it. You
Yeah.
haven't seen mob lynchings where the government is fully in support
We are a
of the
very lucky
lynchers.
society.
You just sit back
except
and
for the
say,
floods, we are a very
"Arey,
lucky society.
we can be armchair politics, talk about everything
Yeah,
else
yeah.
because we don't face
We are the
it."
first world.
My God.
But coming back to personal
And you
choice.
don't face it because of, I don't want to get political,
Yeah.
but I can tell you, the left has had a huge role to play.
You keep
A
saying you, but
huge
it's actually
role.
we. You're also a Malayali. But coming back to the
Yeah,
personal
I
choice
am a
thing.
Bahu of, but
Yeah,
unfortunately not accepted as such because I don't speak the language,
do you
much to my
keenly,
eternal regret. And since I'm 77 years old, I don't know how many years I have now to be able to learn Malayalam. Pretty tough language.
okay,
I can get the sound of it
okay,
and see when, like for example, I was in a situation where I had one of the worst translators.
yeah,
Poor
that was a
man,
very
I just
viral
felt,
moment. Yeah,
But I could get what he was saying, So I
yeah.
knew what he was saying was not what I was saying.
Yeah.
And I can use some words.
You said 77 years and you don't know how long you have to learn the language and all. But about Siddharam Yechury's death, it's 4 months now. Uh, is it, talking about it now, do you feel like, you have attained a safe distance to see it for what it is? And, how does it,
Never.
how do you feel about it?
I mean, see, it's not a question of being personally affected because, when you work for so many years with a comrade, you get personally affected. But even more than that, whatever we work for,
Okay,
the movement we work for,
okay,
the cause we work for,
okay,
when the main person who is taking that forward,
okay,
who is the general secretary of the party,
okay.
the first among equals, goes in a matter of a month.
Yeah,
In the morning, we were in a meeting together.
okay.
We heard in the evening he's admitted to the hospital.
And later, after his death, any point where I'm sure there will be like a lot of situations where you felt like, oh, Siddharam is not around me right now.
That's like when you walk into that office, you feel it all.
Any recent example of that kind? Any incident that you could recollect in the last 4 months where you felt like missing him? Not.
It's not really like that from incident to incident. And anyway, I wouldn't like to talk about personal feelings right now, but
Okay.
the fact of the matter is that there is a huge gap being created, which is felt across the country by the absence of a leader who went far, far before his time and who loved life. He loved life. He loved life.
One final question about where we start. I'm going back to the thing that we started about youngsters and polarization and this thing. Are you a keen observer of Gen Z life, and do you know what words like situationship and aura means?
I have grandchildren
Okay.
and I have
Do you feel like smacking them
daughters
all the time?
who, it's the opposite, I think.
Okay.
That's what Gen Z is. It's absolutely the opposite of the time when a child never had the right to say, oh my God, just stop it.
Okay.
So I think it's more democratic now, which is good. But one's always concerned as a grandmother about
Okay.
security, about environment, about influences. That never goes.
How
That
old
never
are they, your
goes.
grandchildren?
Well, one of my children, my grandson, is now 26 years old,
Okay.
and my elder granddaughter is 24 years old,
Okay.
and the youngest is 21.
I'm curious, how they see you and your brand
Got to
of
ask
politics.
them. Got to ask them.
But you might have seen
You have
some
to ask
reactions,
them.
no? So it'll be
We
part
have
of,
a joint family, and I think we're okay.
so it'll be part of the larger reaction of how Gen Z and millennials react to the left brand of
And
politics.
what is this word Gen Z? Where does this come from? This is what I want to ask you. Being closer to Gen Z than me, what does it mean? What is it? What's the origin of it? Do you know?
Hmm.
I bet you don't.
No, I get to ask the questions,
Got
That's the
you
fun
there,
part of
boy.
it.
I
I get
got
to
you
ask the
there.
questions. I don't have to answer.
I got you there. But I just want to say that this is always a wonderful experience being here at KLF.
Yeah.
But it really is. It's such. I've never seen anything like this. It's like the literacy festival, the one that we had in Trivandrum
Yeah.
recently, and this
Okay.
book festival. It's just wonderful, and more strength
No.
to all of you and to all the organizers and to all the writers
That.
and all the young people who come here and
Thanks
read
a lot, man.
books.